Good morning, everyone. This is Teacher Dean. Again, this is Teacher Dean. And today I am going to go over symptoms and remedies. We have done some of these in the class, but I think a little refresher may be great. So let's start again with the definition of symptom. 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 Again, it's SYMPTOM. So that is symptom. And what again symptom mean? Symptom is talking about when you get hurt. Symptom is talking about when you get hurt. Now let me remind you, or let me state, that there's a difference between symptom and a sign. So a symptom is something that affects a person, right? Symptom affects a person. But there is also sign, SIGN, that is also used in medical terms. So when we talk about sign, if you look in your dictionary, and Teacher Dean always say you can look in your dictionary on Google. Google has a lot of dictionary. It has Merriam Dictionary, Webster Dictionary. Use those, okay? Only dictionary. Now, so a sign is the effect of a health problem that can be observed by someone else. A sign is the effect of a health problem that somebody else see. Now, a symptom is the effect noticed and experienced by the person who has the condition. So, a sign is what somebody else see. So what you see on Teacher Dean is a sign. But what Teacher Dean sees on herself is called the symptom. Do we understand? Now, so there's a difference between symptom and sign. And remember, symptom is when you feel hurt. Now, your hurt could be mentally. And your hurt could be mentally, means all up in here in your head. Your hurt could be physically on your body. Your hurt could emotionally, inside your heart. Symptom. All right? Now we're going to talk about some symptoms that we have, and just to explain a few for you students. So let's look at the word symptom. And what symptom am I talking about? I'm talking about fracture. So what do you do when you have a fracture? And what is a fracture? A fracture is when you hurt your body, and like your bones. So you can say, my finger fracture. And then you have to wrap it with something because it's fractured. So a fracture is different from a sprain. A fracture is different from a sprain. Now, when you get your body fractured, and sometimes that happens in a car accident. You have a car accident, you may get a fracture. Now, when you have a fracture, where do you go for help? Where do you go for help? You go to a doctor. Now, we're talking about where do you go for help. There's a word that I need to explain at this time, which is called remedy. Remedy. R-E-M-E-D-Y. R-E-M-E-D-Y. Remedy is what you do to feel better. So your remedy is not always going to a doctor, but your remedy is what you do to feel better. So let's continue. Let me go back to the word fracture. Fracture is a symptom Your remedy is to go to a doctor. And I spoke about what a doctor is in the slides that I sent to you. But remember, you go to a medical doctor. Only the medical doctor. No witch doctor, no Santa, whatever you all call it. No other doctor. Just the medical doctor. And I know there's a word for that. In Jamaica, we say bush doctor. They say obia man. None of those guys. Okay? Make sure you go to a medical doctor. And when we're talking about doctor too, do not confuse the medical doctor with the people who have a doctorate. So people go to colleges to get a doctorate. I talk about that in class, but I just want to iterate. Don't mix it up with the people who have a doctorate. Also, don't mix it up with the people that have what we call doctors in churches. Sometimes you go to churches, you're doctor, apostle, bishop, da 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 da. Too many names to teach a dean. So sometimes you go to churches, you hear them call themselves doctors. Not that doctor. There's also somebody that they call a Jewish doctor. You get that at law school. Jewish doctor. Not that doctor. Not that one. The only doctor that we're talking about is the medical doctor. Medical doctor. All right? Now, let's look at the next word. Dizzy. What is dizzy? Remember, teacher didn't show you what dizzy means? It's like your head, it's moving around aimlessly, and sometimes you fall on the ground, right? When you're dizzy, your head doesn't feel the same and it's rocking inside. And sometimes you fall on the ground. Dizzy. Now, when you're dizzy, you can get sleep. Sometimes all you need is sleep when you're dizzy. And sometimes you need to take a tablet. Sometimes you need to take a tablet, a medicine. Sometimes a Tylenol. Whatever the medication you can take, sometimes you need to take a medicine, or sometimes you just need to sleep. Now, when you take a cough syrup, sometimes it makes you dizzy or sleepy. And they will say, may cause dizziness or drowsiness. So they're telling you that it may have some side effects. So that's another word. It may have some side effect. So you take the medicine to feel better, and then you get a new feeling. Okay? So, for example, when we take Benadryl can make you go to sleep. But sometimes when you take the Benadryl, you have other side effect. Now let's look at the next word, blister. Blister. B-L-I-S-T-E-R. Blister. B-L-I-S-T-E-R. Now a blister, and I don't have one on my skin, it's like a little bump that comes upon your skin. It comes upon your skin, and maybe I can use a thumbtack to help illustrate. It's like something projecting on your skin, like that, right? It projects on your skin. Now, when it projects on your skin, it's sometimes caused from burn, when you get burned on a fire. So when it projects on your skin, it causes a blister, and it's watery. And I'll send you copies of that in the PowerPoint. But that blister is watery, and I'll send you copies of that later. Now, we're going to look at the next word, wounded. What does wounded mean? Right? That word could also be pronounced wound. Wound. So you can use it to wrap your cut. So when you get a wound, you have a cut. And sometimes when you're wounded inside emotionally, right in your little heart, okay? Sometimes you're wounded right here in your heart. Sometimes your wound is emotional, part of your head, right? Wounded can be a cut. We all know what cut means, like when you cut with a knife and you cut your finger, that could be a wound. And you could be wounded inside emotionally, in your heart. And you can also have problems sometimes emotionally, right? In your brain. Wounded. Now, bruised. Bruised is another term. And sometimes we can have a bruised leg. We can have a bruised back. When we have a bruised back, we can go to the doctor. A bruised back. BRUISED. Again, it's BRUISED. One more time. BRUISED. Now, when you're bruised, you can go to the doctor. You can go to the doctor when you're bruised. Now, to close out the short videos that I'm creating, I am going to sing my little song. He was wounded for my transgressions. He was bruised for my iniquity. Surely he bore all my sorrows, and by his stripes we are healed. He was wounded for my transgressions. He was bruised for my iniquity. Surely he bore all my sorrows, and by his stripes we are healed. So when you hear songs like that, those songs are talking about wounded on the inside. Wounded on the inside. Those are emotional wounds. So when you hear people in the church sing those songs, they're talking about emotions, feelings. He was wounded for my transgressions, my sins, my problems. And sometimes in our natural lives, other people are wounded for us. Other people take the blame for us. Many times, there are other people wounded because of another situation. But remember, you get healing naturally. You can get healing naturally. Sometimes you need some home remedies. Sometimes you need to go to the doctor. So sometimes we need to get home remedies, and sometimes we need to go to the doctor. But remember, all wounds can eventually heal. Stay safe. Be good. Until we meet. This is Teacher Dean. One love. Again, this is Teacher Dean. One love. Thank you.